Everyone, welcome. So in this demo, I'm going to show you how to download and install the Phoenix sample application. And I'm going to have a quick demo on the functionalities that's involved in the application as well. So first of all, here's the page, the Confluence page for the application. And there's some simple information here. And there's an architecture diagram that you can check it out as well. And then we have the link to the GitHub where we have the source code. Okay. So let's first download the project. So I'm gonna start a new folder. Well, doesn't matter, I guess. Just do a git clone here. Permission delay. Okay, let's do it again. I'm in the wrong folder. Okay, so this is downloading the whole thing. And as you can see, we have 4 folders: the ForgeRock folder, the Phoenix backend, the Phoenix frontend, and SSO app, which corresponds for the components here. So we basically have a Portal app. That's backend, and that's the front end, which is a Angular 2, Angular 5, I guess. And then this is a Spring backend app with Spring Boot. And this one is MySQL database, and we have the ForgeRock stack and the external apps. So right now we have only one external app that is used for testing this cross-domain single sign-on. Now let's come back. So first of all, make sure that you have the Angular CLI tool installed. So I have the Angular CLI tool installed. The version is 1.7.3, and also you need to have the NPM tool installed as well. Okay, so let's go to the Phoenix frontend and do an NPM install. So this basically will update whatever packages and dependencies there based on the dependency list in the package.json file. Okay, so this usually takes some time depending on your system and your network speed. Okay, so I'm gonna just pause the video and let it finish. Oh, there we go, we have already finished. So let's make sure it's running. We can do our ngserve to let it run. So this will basically build and compile the project, and it will be hosted at localhost 4200. This shouldn't take long. Okay, there we go. And let's come to localhost 4200. Okay, so we have the front end set up. Okay, that's the first step. And the second step is to install the OpenAM stack. So we have the OpenAM and the CTS in the user store. So I would encourage you to use the external CTS and user store because that would be the real case in production. But for testing purpose, right now here, we're gonna have just embedded CTS and user store. Okay, so if you're curious about how to set up with external CTS and user store, so we have I have a demo video as well for that, so you can check that out. But anyway, this should be a relatively straightforward process. What you need to do is basically just go to the backstage, of OpenAM. Let's see, downloads. So access management. Basically, you just need to download it for the zip file and unzip the zip file. Put the OpenAM WAR file into a Tomcat container. So I'm gonna just skip that process because I have already done it. what you need to do is just to copy that Tomcat to ForgeRock, and we have a Tomcat here, and we have a web apps folder which has the OpenAM.war file. Okay, so let's make sure the port number is correct. Go to conf and do a check on the server port. Okay, so by default it's 8005, right? So we want to add a 1 before that to make a different port, because this is the default one we're gonna use, 18080. Okay, just make sure you have changed all those. All right, and after that, let's see, we can start Tomcat start up.sh, no, sudo oh, my cat is meowing. Don't worry, he's just a little bit hungry, I guess. He's missing his treat. Okay, so this is gonna take a little bit time to load up, so we can come and try to access the page. I'll just pause the video and let it finish. Okay, there we go. It's loaded, but this is the first time, so it's missing its configuration file. Let's do that. So I just want to point out that we do have a OpenAM configuration folder. So that's just for reference, okay? That's the right configuration, but setting up the process for OpenAM is a little bit complicated. So I would just stick to a more straightforward way, following the standard process. Password is just password, and OpenAM. So this one would be, let's see, what's the path for this one? Okay, users. Okay, and we're gonna create a folder called OpenAM. Configuration or whatever you like. Next, we're going to use a embedded CTS configuration store, and we're going to change this to a embedded user store as well. Do we want to set up site? Nope. Just keep it simple and straightforward. All right. So this is doing some configuration. Besides that, we need to have database setup. So we should have a database created, and its name should be, let's see, should be somewhere here. PhoenixDB. Yeah, that's it. So this one should be created. All right. You don't have to create a table because Hibernate will help you create it, but you need to create a database called Phoenix-DB, and you are using MySQL. Okay. All right. This configuration is finished. Proceed to login. So this should be no problem. We have set up the OpenAM, so that's good. So the next step is to create a configuration. So I would like to quickly go through those steps, as the configuration is not that complicated, so that you can know what's really going on. So the first step is create a Phoenix dev realm. Okay, and then before that, let's configure a global service called email service. So this basically will set up an email I'm gonna use Gmail account. Okay. Save changes. Come back to the rooms. And then what we need to do is to enable the self-service, as we're going to provide, create a new account to register as well. And here, let's go to services. Make sure you're under the Phoenix Dev realm, okay? Add a service. We're going to create a user self-service. Enable the user registration and the forgotten password. And we need to type in the test encryption key and test signing key, okay? So this would be self-service inc test self-service sign test. Okay, we're gonna create that. For user registration, we don't need the email verification. Save changes. Okay, so this should be enabled our self-service. Pretty straightforward, right? And then the next step is to enable the STS. So if you're not familiar with STS, basically it's a service to exchange tokens. Say for example, I have an OpenAM username password. I want to exchange with OpenAM to generate a SAML assertion or a OpenID token. We can use the STS service. So STS is short for Security Token Service, and you can find more information in the official documentation. For now, we are just using this to exchange the OpenAM session information and generate a JWT OpenID token. Okay, so choose this persist issue tokens in the core token store, so that information will be stored in CTS. And we're gonna just select the OpenAM to OpenID Connect. That's basically converts session information to a JWT token. Okay, and scroll down. We're gonna go to the deployment URL. This should be access_token. And so we have to follow this name, as I have hard coded that into the backend. This one should be Phoenix-OpenAM. Okay, and we need to have a secret here, which is just password as a text. And this secret is used for validating the HMAC signed tokens, the JWT token. When trying to validate that, you need to have the secret to check whether the JWT has been tampered or not. Okay, so you have to make this consistent. Right now, I'm just using a simple text, but in production, you have to use a complicated, very weird string, okay, and make it store somewhere safely. This one is just a password, okay? And we need to specify an audience. Since the application we are visiting is just a localhost app, I'm gonna just type it here as localhost 8383. Okay, so that should do it. Create, okay. So that should do the job for OpenAM. The next task is to set up the backend for the portal app and external app. Okay, so for the portal app, it's pretty straightforward. So if you go to the folder we just cloned, we have a Phoenix backend folder, and this is basically a Maven project. So you can do a simple Maven package. This will build a project and generate a jar file. Or if you want to take a look at the code, you can use an IDE to open the project folder. And just for information, this is executing the testing cases. and I have some initialization. Say you can see here, it's creating tables and users and rows. Okay, so after it has been run, we can come to our database and say, let's refresh a little bit. Those tables have been created, right? Oops. Where to show the data information? Oh, we have one row user here, and we have 2 users added. Okay. And if we come back to our ForgeRock, under this realm, go to subjects, and you can see the 2 users has been added. Okay, so those users has been created automatically at the backend, but I also write the REST code from backend, to ForgeRock to create users in the ForgeRock storage as well. Okay, so in this case, I should be able to log in. Okay, incorrect username and password. Looks like there's something wrong. Let's take a look. Okay, it's trying to visit. Oh, sorry. I didn't start the backend. I was just running the build and test, but I didn't start it. Okay, so we should go to start the jar file, which is backend. So this will have the backend running. Okay, so sorry about that. Okay, so it started. Let's try to log in again. Okay, there we go. We have logged in. So this is the login page. Okay, and we can log out. Okay, and if we close the browser, close the browser and open again. I'm still logged in. Okay, so the next step is to start the other application. We're gonna do the same thing as Maven package. This will build the project as a jar file. You can skip this test if you want, as it's not doing anything. Okay. So the testing is failing. Let's just skip test. Just Maven package -d maven.test.skip equals to true, and do it again. Alright, this is successful. We have a target, and we can start the jar file. There's something wrong with oh, that's because we haven't created the database for SSO app DB. Okay, sorry about that. Let's create a new database. It's called SSO app-db. Okay, and we're just running again. Alright, so this time we're okay. So the app has started at 8383, and if we do a single sign-on here, okay, it looks like there's something wrong. Let's just come back to the original. let's log out first and try to log in again. And single sign on. No. Why it's not signing on? Let's see. Okay, we have a 403, which is denied. Okay. Access denied. Okay. Okay, there's a little bug I just found out, and that's because I didn't have the table content created here for those users and rows. Okay. For the SSO app.db. Okay. But I just fixed it, and if you log in and do a single sign on, so this will basically come to the other app. Okay. And let's just rebuild the application. Okay, this is successful. It's good. And we have SSO app. Okay, so it started. Let's try to log in again. So the password is just password, okay? Alright, there we go. It's working. Another thing I would like to mention is that if you look at the database in the Phoenix DB, I have a session tracker. So basically it will track whatever sessions the user has logged in with the token. So this session ID is from cookie that's created by Spring Security, and this session is the token ID, which is the session ID for OpenAM session. So right now I have one user login, right, which is admin. And if we go to OpenAM, go to session, we should be able to find the admin session here. So that's one session. And think about a scenario that we have another user, well, another browser logging in with a different context. So this user will have two sessions, right? So that's when this session tracker come into play. So right now we have two sessions, and here we have two sessions as well. And if a user just log out of this session, okay, the sessions will be gone here, and it will be deleted in database as well. But this session is still valid, as we can do a single sign-on, okay. And if we are trying to access this page, it's gonna be denied. Okay, so that's a quick demo for the application. So I haven't tested the create a new account or forget password yet. If you're interested, you can do that. Okay, so that's pretty much for this demo. Hope you guys enjoy it. All right, have a great one. Bye.